call the regular meeting of the York County School Board to order. It's April the 27th. Good evening, everyone. We're going to start off with our pledge leader, which is Montasia Bartlett. If you can come up, please. She's a fifth grader at Magruder Elementary School. Before we start, let me read some things about you. One of the first things that you will notice about Montasia is her warm, inviting smile. No matter what is going on around her, Montasia has a huge smile on her face. Not surprisingly, she also has a big heart. She cares deeply about her fellow classmates and is sensitive to the feelings and needs of others. Montasia has done a wonderful job representing Magruder Elementary School as the daily anchor on the MES morning show this year, as a leader of the fifth grade Girls Power Group, and as a member of the York County School Division's Festival Chorus. Inside the classroom and out, Montasia sets an excellent example for others and always does her best. So let's all stand for the pledge, please.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. All right, we're going to lead into our recognitions and awards this evening. We're going to start with our Seniors of the Month, and our first one is from Bruton High School, Mrs. Haywood.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. I have the honor of introducing to you the Senior of the Month for April from Bruton High School, Thomas Hunter Embry. Stand up and Mom and Dad are here with you. Stand up, and grandparents, stand up. Anybody else? The whole family. Fantastic. I must tell you right off the bat, you have a fan in your grandma. Yeah. Let me share some information with you about Hunter. Hunter is an active member of the National Honor Society, serving as treasurer, Spanish Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta Math Honor Society, and Chemistry Honor Society, serving as treasurer. Hunter demonstrates leadership and dedication as an athlete on the BHS varsity soccer team and has played all 4 years of high school, serving as captain during his junior and senior years. In addition to being a dedicated student, Hunter volunteers several hours in the community as a captain with the Virginia Legacy Soccer Club and participates in the annual Recreation Soccer Carnival, promoting scholarship programs for travel soccer. Hunter has served his school and community well while maintaining a 4.54 GPA and received academic high honors during each year of high school. Hunter's plans for the future include attending college to complete a degree in biology. Hunter has been accepted to the College of William & Mary and plans to continue to wear the green and gold in the fall of 2015. Congratulations, Hunter, and thank you for the contributions you make to Bruton High School and your community.
All right, thank you, Mrs. Haywood. Our Senior of the Month for Grafton High School, Mr. Minter.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. It's a real honor and a privilege to introduce to you Senior of the Month for Grafton High School, Sinyu Chi. Would you please stand, and your mother and father with you, or brothers and sisters, please stand. Let me read a little bit about Sinyu. Sinyu Chi is Grafton High School's Senior of the Month for April. Over the last 4 years, Sinyu has left her mark at Grafton academically and student leadership. Sinyu is a member of both the National Honor Society and the Math Honor Society Mu Alpha Theta. She is also actively involved with Future Business Leaders of America, FBLA, Key Club, Asian Association, and the Concert Band. In addition, she is an AP Scholar with distinction, winning the President's Education Award and has earned the highest honor awards each year. She is proud of her many volunteer opportunities in the community, especially her work with the YMCA First Tee program and the Peninsula Chinese School, where she earned the Volunteer Excellence Award. Sinyu attended New Horizons Regional Governor School for Science and Technology and was selected to participate in the National Youth Leadership Forum on Medicine in 2012. Not only is Sinyu an extremely gifted young lady, but her impressive 4.7 GPA places her second in her senior class. Sinyu will deliver the salutatorian address at the Grafton graduation ceremony in June. Please join me in congratulating Sinyu Chi, Grafton's April Senior of the Month.
Thank you, Mr. Mentor. Tab High School, Dr. George.
Yes, this evening I have the pleasure to introduce our Senior of the Month, Rebecca Soisman. And I believe her mom, Kirsten, and dad, Dave, are here. Thanks for coming. What a dynamo Rebecca is. From her leadership roles at school to her strong academic status, she is the involved, dynamic student everybody wants to have in their classroom. Rebecca currently serves in 6 different organizations and is a member of 5 National Honor Societies: National, English, Math, Science, and Thespian. Holding a 4.6548 GPA and ranked number 5 in her class, she is an AP Scholar with distinction and also attends the SOA program. She has been a performer in musical since the 9th grade. Most recently, she played the coveted role of the spunky hairdresser Paulette in Legally Blonde.
Yeah, we remember that.
Oh, that's her. She is selfless, giving of her own time to not only her performance activities, but she is a 4-year member of our Select Girls Ensemble, serves on the Virginia Theater Association Board of Directors, Library Teen Advisory Board, and she was named the YMCA 2014 Volunteer of the Year for her leadership with the YMCA Leaders Club, where she serves as president. She is active in Christian leadership and works at her church nursery. Rebecca plans on pursuing a medical degree with study at UVA or Wake Forest. Our April Student of the Month will continue to do all that she can well into the future and to do it well. Thank you so much, Rebecca. We appreciate all your hard work, and we are very proud of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. George. I have the pleasure of introducing our April Senior of the Month for York High School, and that's Edward Miles Brown. And I believe your mom and dad's with you, and you have some other family members. If they'll all stand, please. Thank you. York High School is pleased to announce that Miles Brown as the April Senior of the Month. Miles has been an important member of the Falcon family since his freshman year. He is an honor roll student who is involved in many sports and clubs at York High School. He is a member of the Naval Junior Reserve Officers Training Corps and a member of the National Honor Society. He is a former member of the junior varsity and varsity football teams and participates with the indoor and outdoor track teams. Miles won first place in the regional final in the triple jump and placed 4th at the state finals in triple jump. Currently, Miles is the commanding officer for the NJRTC and takes pride in his position. He is constantly helping the younger students and encouraging them to be excellent students inside and outside of the classroom. In the fall, Miles will be attending the Virginia Military Institute. He is a well-rounded student and is a positive member of the York High School family. Congratulations. We're very proud of you, Miles. All right, at this time, for the rest of our awards, Dr. Shandor and myself will go down front. Dr. George?
Yes. Okay, at this time, we're going to move into our Student Service Awards. And the first award this evening will be presented by Mrs. Haywood.
Yes, thank you, Dr. George. The Student Service Award for April goes to Ethan Fike, a 5th grader at Magruder Elementary School. If Ethan will come forward with Principal Mrs. Jane Koryatzik. Ethan is a student who exemplifies learning in order to understand others and to be understood. He really enjoys science, stating that his most current interest is cells and parts of the body system, the science behind what makes us able to do everything we do. Ethan has shared this love of science repeatedly in the larger community, sharing at science fairs, participating in the Vista Young Scientists program at William & Mary, and working weekly with scientists from our community in class as part of his teacher's work with the American Chemistry Association Scientists in the Classroom program. His teachers share that he wants to learn alongside others in his class, and he works to ask questions and find answers that raises everyone's level of thinking about concepts. A compassionate student, Ethan also loves animals, working on a soccer team, developing friendships through a shared love of football, and has worked with our Magruder Student Council Association to support school outreach projects. An honor roll student in the last 3 years, he has also been honored as a Student Citizen of the Month this year. As Ethan looks towards the future, he is excited to try learning a foreign language as he enters middle school. He would like to go to college on a football scholarship, but perhaps getting into a good school with a PhD program in marine science is his backup plan. We are honored to name Ethan Fike as our Student Service Award winner for the 2014-2015 school year, and we are excited to see what his future holds. Please join me in congratulating Ethan.
Our next Student Service Awards from Tabb Middle School, Caitlin Horton. If Caitlin and Dr. Fox could come on up. Tabb Middle School is proud to honor Caitlin Horton as our Student Service Award winner. Caitlin is a very quiet, altruistic leader at Tabb Middle. Teachers describe Caitlin as dependable, hardworking, humble, and caring. Caitlin will take it upon herself to help struggling students in class. She has a genuine concern for others, and yet she is not self-promoting. This year, Caitlin organized Valentine's for Veterans through the National Junior Honor Society. She and other students created Valentine's Day cards for veterans who are currently at the Hampton VA Medical Center. The hospital recognized Caitlin's leadership role in this activity by sending us a letter and sharing with us how it lifted the veterans' spirits. At Tabb Middle School, Caitlin is a member of the Chain Reactions Club. This group works with our entire student population to help create a climate of acceptance and kindness, as well as helping our new students become acclimated to our school. Caitlin is always eager to help our new students by showing them around the school, helping them find their classes, and checking in with them periodically to see how they are adjusting. She has also volunteered her time in the summer to help with Tiger Trek, our new student orientation for rising sixth graders. In addition to all of the time that Caitlin spends helping others at Tabb and in the community, Caitlin maintains excellent grades and a very challenging academic course load. She has been in the National Junior Honor Society for 2 years and plays softball and basketball for Tabb. Caitlin's hard work and dedication to her academics, leadership skills, and community service make her an excellent choice for our Student Service Award. Congratulations, Caitlin, and thank you for all that you do. At this time, we're going to move into our Community Volunteers of the Month, and Ms. Haywood, you have the first one again.
I do indeed. Thank you again, Dr. George. Excuse me. Mrs. Catherine Larhoven from Magruder Elementary School, if you will come forward, again with the principal, Mrs. Jane Koryatzik. Mrs. Catherine Larhoven has worked as a volunteer at MES for the last 6 years. She has spent time in her children's classrooms, assisting with any activity teachers assigned, and built rapport with students in our community during her lunchtime visits. However, it is the hundreds of hours spent at her drawing table and then in the hallways at MES that have forever changed the way our community views Magruder Elementary School. During the last 3 years, Mrs. Larhoven has researched, designed, and created artwork that graces the public spaces of Magruder. She has also designed the stationery that the administration uses for handwritten notes, such as thanking community members and staff for their time spent working with our students at Magruder. Her talent will be a long-lasting reminder of the care and beauty that an individual can bestow upon her community. We are thankful to have Mrs. Catherine Larhoven as our Volunteer of the Year for Magruder Elementary School this year. Please join me in congratulating her.
And our next Volunteer of the Month is from Tabb Middle School, Mrs. Hazel Todd. You come up, Mrs. Todd, and Dr. Foxton. Mrs. Hazel Todd is a treasured asset to the Tabb Middle School community. She is constantly volunteering to assist faculty, staff, and students in a variety of ways. Mrs. Todd frequently cooks for the faculty and staff, bringing in cinnamon rolls, chocolate, strawberries, and cookies for the teachers' lounge, faculty meetings, and school celebrations. Oh, my. Tabb Middle faculty and staff are fed, full, and happy due to her efforts. Mrs. Todd will come to Tabb Middle to help serve refreshments during special occasions, assist with supervision in the cafeteria, help with field trips, provide assistance in the main office, run errands, make copies, and even serves as the crossing guard in the morning or afternoon when needed. No matter what Mrs. Todd is doing, she is doing it with a smile on her face. There are many volunteers who work to make Tabb Middle such a great place for students. Mrs. Todd was selected for this honor for a number of reasons, but for one in particular. Everything she has done for Tabb Middle over the past year and a half, she did while battling breast cancer and undergoing chemotherapy and radiation treatments. She never let her fatigue or the seriousness of her illness diminish her spirit or her love for her work. She is an example to all of us on how to overcome adversity. Most incredibly, Mrs. Todd never lets a day go by without thanking us for allowing her to come to Tabb Middle to work. Mrs. Todd's efforts, dedication, unbreakable spirit, and her constant support are greatly appreciated by everyone at Tabb Middle. Mrs. Todd is being recognized because her selfless efforts truly make a difference and have a positive impact on the students, faculty, and staff. Thank you, Mrs. Todd, and we appreciate all that you do.
We'll follow her home.
Yeah. Okay, at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Kurski for the York Foundation for Public Education presentation.
Thank you. We ask that York Foundation for Public Education Board Member Pam Neal and Jenny Fioca of Cookie Text and Edible Tweet come forward, along with Montaja Bartlett, Caitlin Horton, and Ethan Fike. We want to congratulate Montaja Bartlett, a fifth grader from Magruder Elementary School, for reciting the Pledge of Allegiance at tonight's school board meeting. And we want to congratulate tonight's Student Service Award recipients, Caitlin Horton from Tabb Middle School and Ethan Fike from Magruder Elementary School. Special gifts from Cookie Text and Edible Tweet are being presented on behalf of the York Foundation for Public Education and their donor, Jeannie Fioca of Cookie Text and Edible Tweet. And the foundation would also like to thank Mrs. Fioca for sponsoring tonight's presentation and rewarding our students for their fine work. And we would like to provide her with a token of appreciation On behalf of the foundation and YCSD, we truly appreciate all that you do for us and our students and staff.
Okay, at this time, we're going to take a short recess so that we can come down and introduce ourselves to our award recipients.
Bobby Johnson is a 52-year veteran employee of the school division. He's actually a second-generation employee of York County Schools. His mom worked in the cafeteria. Bobby started his career here as a student at York High School, working in the shop.
I started back in '63 while I was in school, driving buses as a sub bus driver, then went into full-time driving and went to technical schools after high school and continued with the school division. Back in the 80s, took over as the manager of vehicle maintenance and stayed there until now. And I've seen a lot of changes in the fleet. You know, a lot of drivers that are really dedicated to the fleet.
Bobby Johnson. He's probably the best boss I've had. He's dedicated, 100% York County Schools.
He gets on the buses, he works on buses. He doesn't just manage our shop. He does whatever it takes to get the job done. He leads by example. He's very hands-on.
You know, it's definitely a good feeling, you know, to be with a good operation like the school division's been.
I think his dedication to the students and to the job and to the school division that's just Bobby Johnson. He's going to do it right the first time.
In a time where we are trying to attract the best and the brightest to the field of education, I'm really pleased that York County is recognizing Meredith as a first-year teacher.
Every morning that I come in there, I always have a smile on my face because she makes me do that.
She helps me be a better student because she teaches new skills.
To me, a great teacher would be somebody who is patient and kind and teaches the child and not just the material. And Mrs. Bear has been all of those things to us.
Meredith stands out because she has a confidence that she can do it, which is important, but it balances with want to know and do it better.
I love children. As cliche as that sounds, I love to work with them. I love to help them through their stumbling blocks, whatever we can do to help them succeed.
Meredith contributes to the excellence of our school division through her professionalism, through her love of children, her enthusiasm, her willingness to help.
The first year is always the hardest year, and you don't see that on her face. You don't see her being exhausted or concerned or burned out. She just seems every day to come in and ready to go.
If we're stuck on it in class, she puts us in the class so she can help us learn more about it.
She's inspiring for somebody so young. She really is.
this time, I'll return our meeting to order. We have one more presentation or award to recognize this evening, and this is something that's substantial. It's a first place VSBA art contest winners, a group. This is something that districts across the state participate in, students, and then winners are chosen. We actually have the winners here this evening that worked as a team, and we have Arik Huck, Andrew Fioka, and Montaigne Poole. If you'll stand. All right, congratulations. And to give some more information about this award, Mrs. Haywood, I know you've had years of involvement and maybe even attending the events that these young artists participate in. So you can give a little insight to that, to the community?
History-wise, Virginia School Boards Association has an art contest each year. The 134 school divisions across the state are divided into, I believe, 9 regions. And each region, at a regional meeting, spring meeting, they have an art contest. 11 to 12 school divisions are in each region, and each school division can submit artwork. And they have a group of judges that go around and select first, second, and third place. So this year, we have a first place winner. And it's such a nice honor, and that art piece from each of the 3 levels goes back to the VSBA office in Charlottesville and stays on display for the year. So if you're ever in Charlottesville and you want to go by and see your artwork hanging in the Virginia School Boards Association office, that can happen. Yes, indeed. But again, congratulations. And I know Mr. Mentor was there. I was en route in traffic. I just got stopped in traffic on the Williamsburg end of Newport News and couldn't make it. But Mr. Mentor was there, and he was there when the name was called.
Yeah, and I hollered out, "That's ours."
All right, guys, thank you very much. Great job. We appreciate your support of our division and participation. All righty, now we're going to move into our business portion of our meeting. And do we have any unfinished business this evening, board members? No? All right, we'll go into presentations. Accent on Academics is next, and Dr. Shandor, I'll turn to you for that.
Thank you, Mr. Medford. For this evening's Accent on Academics, we will have a presentation from Bethel Manor Elementary School. Kindergarten and first grade teachers at Bethel Manor Elementary School began implementation of Writer's Workshop during the 2013-2014 school year and have continued this approach as part of the new K-5 literacy model. Writer's Workshop emphasizes daily writing, student interest, student choice, student conferencing, and mini lessons determined by the student's writing needs. To share more about this presentation and introduce the students and other presenters is Mr. Michael Lombardo, Bethel Manor Elementary School Principal. Mr. Lombardo?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, school board members, and Dr. Shandor for providing us with this opportunity to present to the board and community this evening. My name is Michael Lombardo, and I serve as principal at Bethel Manor Elementary School. It is my pleasure to provide introductory comments regarding our Accent on Academics presentation on Bethel Manor Elementary School's Writer's Workshop. We're very proud of our kindergarten through 5th grade students' work as writers and pleased to present on the specific work of our kindergarten and first grade students this evening. Tonight, you will hear from 2 extraordinary teachers, Kathy LeClaire, kindergarten, and Denise Trainer, first grade, as well as some of our amazing students. And we also have our educational technology facilitator, Susan Willard, with us this evening to assist with our presentation. At this time, I'd like to bring our team to the podium, and I will turn the presentation over to Denise Trainer at this time.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Shandor. We are thrilled to be here tonight to provide you with a glimpse into a very exciting part of our students' day, Writing Workshop.
practice that takes place each and every day in our classrooms.
Writing Workshop has 4 main components outlined in this pie chart. Tonight we will share with you through pictures and videos how these components work together to create one of our students' favorite instructional times of the day. It starts with a mini lesson, a 5 to 7 minute lesson to introduce or reinforce a writing concept. Next is the most powerful component, independent student writing, where students have a 20 to 40 minute sustained time to write about a topic of their own choosing. This writing time also includes the opportunity for conferring with our young writers. Conferring provides us with the chance to provide direct one-on-one instruction with each child. Finally, each session ends with a 5 to 7 minute sharing time. This time helps our students get excited about what they're doing and want to share with others. The total writing workshop time can be between 30 and 50 minutes.
We start with the mini lesson that my teacher showed us something new.
The mini lesson is the first component of Writing Workshop. It's a 5 to 7 minute targeted lesson. The teacher has a clear objective and models a skill or procedure. Students are often given the opportunity to participate in a guided practice of that skill or procedure. Let's see this in action.
I'm going to show you how to fix some of the things I've been noticing, Braylon, about what's happening in your writing. Okay?
Boys and girls,
Okay.
in Writer's Workshop, we have been working on writing for readers, meaning that you've been writing stories so that your partners could read them for you. So I thought today we would learn how to work with our partner for them to help us edit it.
Writing is where we get our folders, find a comfy place to work, and get started writing about our favorite things.
This is the largest part of Writing Workshop. Our students spend about 70% of the instructional time actually writing. They write daily about topics of their own choosing. Our role is that of facilitator. We circulate through the room, monitoring, encouraging, conferring, and supporting our young writers. Here is just a glimpse.
A writing complex is when my teacher helps me make my writing better.
Conferring is the third and most important component of Writing Workshop. It is the heart of Writing Workshop and occurs during the independent writing time. It allows the unique one-on-one interaction between the teacher and the student. It also provides time to meet with small groups of students who share a similar need. Here are just a few.
Sydney, why are you over here sitting and thinking? Are you thinking right now? What are you thinking about?
I'm thinking about today I got a mosquito bite.
You're going to write your story about today, huh?
I got a bus. It's a really long word.
It is a really long word. So how did you figure out how to write that word? What did you do to figure that out?
Sounded out.
You sounded it out. What are you working on?
This story today.
And what is your story about?
My best friends.
About your best friends, huh? I see that you have a spaceman here. What are you going to do with this spaceman?
Space wars.
Boys and girls, I pulled you over here real quick during Writer's Workshop because I noticed that sometimes we're forgetting to put our punctuation.
Now, we're looking at vultures. So what do you think you are going to look up now?
Birds of prey.
You're going to look up birds of prey? Okay. So what do you need me to do now? What help do you need?
To check it off.
Oh, you'd like me to check it off for you?
Sharing is when we share our stories with our partners.
Sharing is an integral part of the Writing Workshop. Students share their pieces with each other in flexible ways, in partnerships and in small groups. This time allows the writers to learn from each other. It is also an excellent opportunity to practice speaking orally in front of their peers. Here are just some examples.
Scale, jaw, mouth, head, eye. What's that one? Always blend into a tree. What's that saying? You can stop saying typos too much and you can erase it and replace it with different words that make like sense. I have two things to say. I said to my mom, I love it so much. I played with it all day long. It was so much fun. I noticed that your story was about you found the dollhouse and you played with it all day. Yesterday, I went to baseball practice. I hit the ball very far. Me and my brother changed places. I noticed that you and your brother, that you hit the ball really.
Writing Workshop is the opportunity that allows students to grow as writers. By giving them choice, opportunity, ownership, instruction, and support, our writers can grow from this September work to this April work and take pride in their accomplishments. Our students would like to share some of their thoughts with you.
My favorite part of Writer's Workshop is writing and adding detail and making punctuation and spaces. My favorite part about Writer's Workshop is writing my words, sounding out through my words, and adding detail. My favorite part of Writer's Workshop is everything. My favorite part is writing the words correctly. What I like about Writing Workshop is sharing stories with my friends. My favorite thing about Writing Workshop is when my teacher teaches us new things. What I like most about Writing Workshop is when the teacher comes and works with me.
The benefits of Writing Workshop. Choice. Students write about what is important to them and their lives.
Voice. Our young writers express themselves using their own language.
Independence. Students write at their own level on topics that are important to them, and they feel a sense of accomplishment.
Collaboration. These authors work together in partnerships, in small groups to help their stories become even better.
Involvement. Our students feel a deep sense of commitment to share their ideas and their stories with their readers.
Engagement. Our young writers develop ownership of their abilities and work hard to become even better writers. Let's hear a hip hip hooray for Writing Workshop.
Boys and girls, what time is it?
We'd like to thank you for letting us share our Writing Workshop with you tonight, and we're pleased to introduce a few of our young authors who came with us this evening. This is Parker. Parker is the author of, among others, Too Hot, Too Bright, A Christmas Story, The People Win a Prize, and Too Many Books.
And this young author is Lauren Hull. She is the author of Baseball Practice, My Birthday, and Sugar Rush, just to name a few.
We would be happy to answer, all of us would be happy to answer any questions that you might have about Writing Workshop.
Oh, it's fantastic.
It is.
Wow.
Just to see the enthusiasm.
This is such a small snapshot of the wonderful things you guys are doing there. And I saw this firsthand when I visited a kindergarten classroom a couple of months ago. And I came back and I told you all at the meeting how impressed I was. So I was so glad to see you present tonight. It's just amazing. These are kindergartners and first graders. And what you're doing is such an accomplishment. And you guys, we are so proud of you, and you should be proud. We know you're going to be on third grade level in a couple of years because you're probably already there. So well done.
And I always ask the question, we are sharing this with our other 9 elementary schools, I hope. Every school kind of does things different when it comes to things they do in the classroom, but I like it when we sharing across the division, because something that you have created and is working so wonderful at Bethel Manor, I mean, it can, instead of being reinvented, someone else can just take what you've done and roll with it. So very well done. Your team and the leadership at Bethel Manor, you're doing well, very well. We're proud of you.
Thank you.
And to your young authors,
Yes.
if there's anything they would like to get up to the microphone to say about what they do,
What would you like to say?
because they can
about
get
writing
to see
workshop?
themselves on TV later.
Come on up. Stand right up. What's your favorite thing?
When I get to choose whatever I get to write about.
Okay.
Fantastic.
All right.
Do you want to tell them, what was your favorite thing about writing workshop?
My favorite thing about Wada's workshop is that you can write whatever you want that happened to you.
Okay, fantastic. We got some future speakers out here, too.
All the wonderful writers we've had, in our lifetime past and present even. I'm thinking probably they didn't have a writer's workshop in kindergarten. I don't know. But it's amazing to think about what, all the years of building on this that these kids, the ones that, stick with it might accomplish. That's wonderful.
And I think, have y'all got feedback from parents that, you showed samples of where they were in the beginning of the school year, and then your product that you showed us and just the growth? I mean, do you get the feedback from the community, the parents, they're going, good gracious, I mean, this is, our children are growing into the writing and the...
In fact, yes. Parker, what do you want to be when you grow up?
An author.
And all.
That's awesome. Okay.
There
I
you
know
go.
with my parents, I like to hold on to the writing samples just so
Yes.
they can see that September, and then I show them October, November, and they are always so shocked by the time they get it in June at where their children have come from. So
great.
they're always like, wow, it's amazing.
Set that expectation and reach for it, and they're on the way.
That's right.
It's
Just one-
wonderful as a first grade teacher to get the kindergartners who have had writing workshop and then have them in my classroom the following year. It's a challenge, and it is just so exciting to watch how they grasp onto it and how much they just look forward to it every day.
We can see the excitement in y'all. I mean,
Oh, we love it. We love it.
Certainly, the excitement and passion that you bring is certainly transferring to your students. You can have a number of different programs in a school, but unless the teachers and staff are all in with the initiative, with passion and excitement, that's how it gets to work. So thank you all so much for everything that you do each day.
It's a pleasure, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sometimes you think about excellent academics and, 1 month it's wow, and then the next month you go wow again as they build and build. Construction reports next. I know it's difficult to follow that, but Mark Shearhart can give it a try. He brings knowledge and wealth of information that we all need to know.
It is a hard act to follow.
It is.
And everyone typically leaves the room when you're getting ready to present.
Yeah. So,
Financial
sorry,
matters.
Mark. This is,
He knows how to clear the room.
He does know how to clear a room.
James is happy.
But it's important information, so you just go right ahead.
I have pictures, too.
Absolutely.
Not as good as theirs, but I have pictures.
The
Mr.
story
Chairman,
will
members,
tell.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Dr. Shandor, here's your capital projects report for the month of April. I'm going to focus on multiple projects here. The first of these I'd like to touch on is Dare Elementary School, the stream restoration and stormwater project. This is a project carried out by York County Environmental Services, and it's along the back of the Dare Elementary campus. This construction is approximately 95% complete. They've been very hard at work there, and these pictures are beautiful. This is the pond behind Dare Elementary School. You can't see very well, but there are islands in the middle there, and there are geese on them. It's just very serene, just beautiful there. Then here's where the water comes out of that pond here, the overflow. And this area here is where it was all eroded before. It was a big gorge, and you can see where they filled it all back in and put the stone in there to slow the water flow down to prevent the erosion. And here downstream here, down the hill, there's a stream flowing through this continuously. And you can see right here that they've put in all the stone there to slow down the water flow. And you can see where they've filled it back in. You can see the ground on both sides there. They filled that gorge back in. This to me almost looks like a golf course here. You know how green it looks and everything. And this is all York County was in charge of all this here. So it's behind York Elementary, Dare Elementary School. Really looks beautiful.
Once it fills with water.
The next project I'm going to touch on is the one behind off of Cook Road here behind York High School. This one doesn't quite look as good as Dare yet, but it will get there. This project is due to end on May 31st, but there have been a lot of weather delays because of all the rain and snow and everything. Every time the contractor gets started, it rains and he has a lot of mud to deal with, and it slows down the project a lot. So these don't look quite like Dare. This is the pond behind York High right now. So you can see, you have to look at this and envision what it's going to look like in the future here. So here's another picture at another angle. You can see the contractor's been diligently at work, excavating all this area here and getting it all shaped and everything. And the next thing they need to do is put the ground cover down, the grass and everything, and the trees, the vegetation there. So it will look a lot better. You have to think about Dare when you're looking at this here. The next project I'd like to touch on is New Horizons Regional Center, Education Center. And this is at the New Horizons site off of Woodside Lane. This is a joint project. It's for all the school divisions. Well, 8 school divisions in this area are all using New Horizons. But this is being constructed on the Woodside Lane site. They are done with the footers there, which is a concrete that holds up the walls, goes into the ground and holds up the walls. And so they're in the process of building the walls right now. So you can see here they're making lots of progress. I think the last pictures I've showed you had some drainage pipes sticking up out of the ground, and that was about it. So they've made a lot of progress here despite the weather. So they're making good progress. Grafton Bethel Elementary School. This is a project that will take place this coming summer. This is the 4th summer for this school being under renovation or under construction, I should say. And we have received the bids from the contractors for this additional work for this summer. We're in the process of doing reference checks on the lowest bidder. The additional work will entail renovating all the large main restrooms in the building, which are the original restrooms, and completing the painting of the interior of the building. Last year we painted approximately half the building, and the contractor this summer will finish painting out the building. There could be some additional work done on top of this work here, depending on funding. The next project I'd like to touch on is Magruder Elementary School. It's the HVAC and partial roof replacement there. The contract documents that were just processed today at purchasing, and they're in the pony to come to me tomorrow for signatures. And so hopefully we'll move on quickly with this project. It is replacing the original HVAC equipment in the original building. It doesn't include the 2 additions on the back of the building. Obviously their equipment is newer and doesn't need to be replaced yet. It does include replacing the gym roof. And while we're up there replacing the gym roof, the contractor will also install an air conditioning unit on top of the roof to air condition a gym, which has been a long-awaited for feature in that school. The contractor will also be enclosing the gym breezeway and allowing us to have free access between the main building and the gym. No longer will the children have to walk outside to go to the gym. They'll be able to walk through a breezeway and have better security there. The last bullet there is replacing the existing lighting with LED in this school. The engineers have told us that could possibly save us up to 60% of the power costs for lighting in that building. Could drop it by 60%, so it'd be great. It'd be a very efficient building. The last project I'd like to focus on is Waller Mill Elementary School, and this is additions and renovations there. The plans and specifications are due to me May 15th, so hopefully we'll be able to get it out to bid within a month or 2 after that, and potentially we could break ground in August or possibly September of this year. This will add a classroom wing at the back of the building, somewhat similar to Seaford. It adds 8 classrooms there. And then on the right-hand side of the building, when you're looking at it, we'll add a gymnasium on that side and install 2 classrooms in front of the gymnasium for the art and the music classrooms. I am reviewing the 95% drawings right now, and we should have those final drawings to me by May 15th. We are in the process of obtaining bids to move one of the trailers to Yorktown Elementary from Waller Mill. One of the trailers is in the footprint of the addition, and that trailer has to be relocated So we're going to put it at Yorktown Elementary to try to relieve some of the crowding at that school. And that's my last slide for this evening. Do you all have any questions?
I was just concerned that the York High School storm water retention project was turned into strip mining.
It's moonscape right now.
That's right.
That's why I showed you all. That's why I showed you the Dare Elementary pictures first, to give you some hope.
Nice looking.
That's what it'll look like.
And Paige, I thought you were going to talk about New Horizons. I think that the community really needs to understand that and realize that, you know, that project jointly with 8 school divisions that service our children with special needs at that site, that was a much needed, I mean, you worked hard, everybody worked hard to get that funded, and finally it's actually taking shape. I mean, it's a wonderful experience. It's going to be a wonderful site for students to feel comfortable in, and it'll be able to serve those students very well. So you did.
Your hard work's paid off.
Yeah, you chair that.
A lot of good folks and miracles came together.
Yes, it did. All the stars aligned just right. All right, any other questions?
That's great.
Thank you very much, Mr. Sharp.
Thank you for the pictures.
You're welcome.
All right, our next item of business is comments by citizens. We have no one signed up to speak. I'll allow time at the end of our meeting if anybody wishes to, which brings us to matters by board members and Mr. Minter.
Thank you, Mr. Leffert. There's so much happening at this time of the year. You'd be here all night trying to highlight everything. Just a few things that really caught my interest. Had an opportunity on the 16th to go to the Grafton High School production of Little Women. Great production, the musical, and the band was fantastic. The students were great, and it was rather long, but I enjoyed it. Very good. Also noticed that Odyssey of the Mind State Tournament, 5 teams from York County School Division competed in Odyssey of the Mind Virginia tournament on Saturday the 19th. All 5 teams placed in the top 4 of their selected problem and grade level for the division. 2 teams, Magruder Elementary, competing in experiencing technical difficulties in Division 1, and Queens Lake Middle School competing in Runaway Train Division 2, finished first and will move on to compete in the Odyssey of the Mind World Finals at May 20th, 23rd at Michigan State University in East Lansing, Michigan. So my congratulations to them. Also, the Virginia School Board Association, several York County School Division employees have been selected to present many workshops at the 2015 Virginia School Board Association Conference on Education taking place July the 21st, 2015 in Richmond. Dr. Vicka Stevenson will present the topic Developing a Division-Wide Secondary Literacy Model. Laura Burton and Lynn DeVito will present on building teacher capacity using the on-demand format for professional development. And Lisa Ruffier and Carrie Morkey will present the topic Bedtime Stories and Beyond. Congratulations to all of our presenters. That's real great to have them there. There was one that I'm going to step in your area just a little bit, Mark. If I do, I apologize. There's called the Little Library Construction, and really the thing, and you know why I picked this one, because York County residents looking for a good read will soon be able to select books from one of several miniature libraries in the community. 3rd grade students at Seaford Elementary School, with the help of students from New Horizons Educational Center, which is our carpentry center, and volunteers from Wayne Harden Builders and several other businesses within the community that donated materials. And it says that each structure will initially be filled with a variety of books collected, recommended, and even written by 1st and 2nd grades at Seaford Elementary students. Once the little library is installed in locations across the county, community members will be welcome to take a book and read and bring back another book to share. And initial locations for the little libraries include Seaford Elementary School, Somerville Community, and the school board office on Dare Road, and Ben & Jerry's on Water Street. That may be my first stop.
There you go.
But thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Mrs. Kirsty?
Okay, I I just want to announce a couple of fundraising opportunities for the York Foundation for Public Education. First, members of our community can make a donation to the York Foundation through the Give Local 757 website campaign. For 24 hours, beginning on May 5th, folks can donate at givelocal757.org. Also, the foundation is holding its 16th annual golf tournament on June 17th. And if anyone is interested in being a golfer or would like to sponsor the event, they can check out the YCSD website and click on the York Foundation for Public Education. Again, those two dates, May 5th for 24 hours at givelocal757.org. Anyone can donate to the York Foundation for Public Education. I think we saw here tonight that they give back and honor our students who deserve the limelight for all their service hours and for leading the Pledge of Allegiance. That's just a small portion of what the York Foundation for Public Education does. I like to say it provides that extra ingredient to our classroom because the foundation will provide teachers with grants so that they can take their students out to the bay or to the river and do oyster restoration. As that's one example of the long list of amazing projects our teachers use the York Foundation grants to do to enrich their the classroom experience for students. They also give scholarships to students, teachers, paraeducators, as well as staff members. And so your contribution definitely will be returned to the classroom or to a staff member. And so I would encourage anyone who would like to give to take advantage of that. GiveLocal757.org on May 5th for 24 hours. That's my plug.
Thank you. Mrs. Haywood.
Thank you. I know Dr. George is going to talk about this, but on Thursday night, we were at Bruton High School for the School of the Arts and the MSAM dance program. Dr. Rogers was with us, and I don't know if anybody else, but it was fun. We have some talented young people in this division, and they danced all over the auditorium, and they truly had fun doing it. So hats off to the people at Bruton High. We'll start doing our town hall meetings with our counterparts, the Board of Supervisors, and Bruton is up on Thursday morning. And the last thing I would just share with you, I know York, the school division, participates in Relay for Life, and especially on this end. Because I'm in the Bruton district, I participate with the Williamsburg Relay, and that is this weekend. So hopefully the rain stays away, and we'll be walking and cooking and having fun on Friday night at Jamestown High School. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. George?
Yeah, just a couple of things. I'll piggyback on the Thursday night Jubilee. It's sort of the culmination of the whole year's work that these kids put together. And I know my daughter's a senior this year, and she's been involved in the SOA program, the dance program, for 4 years. And they, as a senior, they come up with their own dance, all the choreography, everything about it. And none of the parents can see it. We don't see anything until we get there. I was a little... It was interesting. It was great. It was great. But at first I thought, okay, I wish she had just maybe a few more articles of clothing. You know what I mean? It was a sort of now I'm digging my grave here with my daughter. It was great. It was beautiful. But it was a surprise, and it turned out really great. So I would encourage everybody to go next year if you can. Now
They
I'm in
might
trouble.
after your
They might. They might. The other thing that I noticed about that was really great was the percussion group. You know, in the past we had that grant, I guess, that allowed us to do the participate in the percussion. You know, that it was up, so what they did is they went in and started their own little percussion group, which I thought was really admirable. And so it's really great. Town hall meeting today. I had mine actually this morning at Tab High School, Tom Shepard and I, and it was great turnout. Those kids have great questions. Some of them are the same every year. You know, why are the parking fees so high? why is the food, not what we want? Can we get this and that and the other? But they really are smart kids, and they ask really great questions, and I just think it's a good opportunity to makes you feel good about what we're bringing out of our schools. So that's great. On the what would be the 33rd school day, we're going to have a graduation. So that means we have 32 days left. Isn't that right, Carl? 32 days left, and that's not many days. And between now and then, we have final exams, SOLs, a whole lot happening between now and June 12th, June 11th, I guess. So anyway, buckle down for all of you parents out there in TV land and students. The big push here. So, all right, that's about all I have. I'll pass it on to you, Mr. Medford.
Thank you, Dr. Jordan.
You're welcome.
You got to figure out how to get out of the doghouse.
Yeah, it's not at all.
Anyway, a couple of things. I got my town forum tomorrow morning at York High School. Look forward to that. It's always a delight to see the young people and answer their questions. Bus rodeo. I want to talk about that for a minute. First of all, and Dr. George was there, and the bus rodeo, I guess the best way to start off with this is that a bus driver, all right, a person that turns their back on about 60 to 80 children every morning and returns them safely in the afternoon. But seriously, that's the first impression our young people see, for the most part, the ones that ride on a bus to school every morning, is the bus driver. And that's the person that leaves the last impression on our students every day. They have a great deal of responsibility behind the wheel of that bus, and they do a fantastic job. It's one of those jobs that you just have to be gifted and have the DNA inside you to want to do. And going to that bus rodeo and watching those drivers, first of all, parallel park a school bus, I would have hit everything in sight. It would have been horrible. The year I did participate, it was not pretty at all, and they hadn't let me drive a school bus since. But that was years ago. But it's just to watch them compete with the maneuvering and what goes into getting on a school bus and doing the day-to-day routine things that they do that's not routine to them. Every time they open that door, they turn on the lights to stop and pick up a student. It's a risk. It's a responsibility. So to all the bus drivers, good gracious, the ones that participated in the rodeo, but the ones that rodeo it every day on the streets of York County, to pick up and deliver our students safely to school and return them home. Hats off to every single one of them. And if anybody wishes to be a bus driver, we're always taking applications. And I wish the media would do a story on the life of a bus driver. I mean, some of these drivers have put hundreds of thousands of miles on a bus in a career. They could travel the earth, for heaven's sakes, around and around. If they could inflate things and float them. But it's just amazing how many miles some of them put on a bus over 30 years of a career. And some of these bus drivers stay with us for 30-plus years. It's amazing. York High School had its Driving Drunk and Distracted program not long ago. This is, we call it a 3D program. It's a multi-agency program that brings awareness to driving drunk and distracted. It's for the entire student body. It rotates to a high school each year. And when I say multi-agency, we're not just talking, it's Fire and Life Safety, it's Sheriff's Office, it's the school division, but it's also the team, the 3D team, but it's Riverside, it's Life Evac, it's Amory's Funeral Home, it's the whole production we put on. And it was a wonderful event. Ms. Kursky actually took last year's event and edited it down, and they actually used it at Grafton High School this year. So it's even something that gets used even after we leave the site until we rotate back to it again. But it just brings awareness to the fact that driving distracted or driving drunk, these are the consequences that can happen, and we try to bring that to life through a production. And a lot of students help out with that, and a lot of people volunteer, and a lot of the agencies that help out make that possible. And, of course, the last thing was York High School's The Who's Tommy musical. Got to attend that, and that was a hoot. That was fun. Talented students, once again, having a great time on stage. Really enjoy what they do. And these are the little things that make wanting to come to school and participate in school something special for them. So hats off to that production team and the drama department for putting that on. And that's really all I had to share this evening. So with that said, that's a lot. Financial matters. Dr. George, you have that this evening?
Still trying to figure out how to get out of that.
We have a deputy in the back could probably escort you home, make sure everything's safe when you arrive. So Lieutenant Hahn can take care of that.
Okay. Let's go to certificate for approval of claims. Certify that the individual claims certified for payment by the superintendent and paid for the month of March are approved by us, the school board, in the sum of $2,726,908.54. And if we scroll down a little bit and look at significant expenditures, just a couple of things on here. The Buck Institute up at the top, $18,000. That's professional development, but I think it's important to know that's a DODEA grant funded by that, which is always helpful. As we come down, you can take a look at Kingmore Supply. There's 3 right there. 2 of them have to do with one special needs bus, and I guess they bill them separately, $52,000 for the chassis, and then $140,000 for the rest of the bus. So that's a pretty expensive bus, but that's actually 2 buses, special needs school buses. And then the one right below that, $86,000, that's for one bus, regular 77-passenger school bus. We have a whole slew of Dominion Virginia Power, basically nothing out of the normal utility payments, but there's about almost 10 or 11 of those on there. I think we can just scroll down to, I'd like to go down to the 4th one from the bottom, Synovia Solutions. That is the GPS systems in the buses, and really a cool thing. I mean, they can tell where the bus is, if it's stopped in traffic, how fast the bus is going. All of these things can happen. I'm assuming they can call the bus driver if they're going too fast and say, slow down. I mean, it's just really an amazing system. So I think that's really, I'm glad that we've implemented that. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that's on all the school buses now. Would that be correct?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Okay, if we go down, down 3rd from the bottom there, Bay Electric Company, retrofit poles and fixtures for Dare Elementary, School Board Office, Grafton, and Coventry. Those are 4 more areas where we've replaced the lighting with the LED lighting in the parking, and much more secure and much more efficient. So we're replacing those, I guess, as we go through and as they need to be done. And then just one more, New Horizons. That's our normal special education, our portion for that bill there, $63,814. And I think I'll move on to our financial reports.
Dr. George, can I
Yes.
ask a question? This might be for Dr. Shandor or Dr. James, but there's $15,428 for Mosley Architects for the A&E services for the new elementary school. Could
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about what that is?
Well, I'm assuming, yeah.
Mr. Shearhart?
Anyone?
That is for the study for the 2 different sites, the Marquis site and the York Middle site. We're trying to figure out how the school can be designed to fit on either of those sites, and that's what that fund is for.
Super, thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Shearhart.
Okay, if we go into approval of financial reports, our monthly financial reports, really everything is pretty much, revenue and expenditure patterns are fairly normal at this time. I do like to look at and just compare revenue received to date, $110,787,000. And last year, this time, it was $106,073,000. So we're up about $4 million on revenues received, which is always good. So 84% revenues received to date, 63% encumbered. So we're looking good there. It's always good that your encumbered funds are less than your received revenue. Okay, let's move to the monthly food service report. I think it looks pretty good. It's obviously in the past has been some concern for us, but I think it looks pretty good. I think really the thing I just want to point out is that to date we have $2,084,852.07 received, and a year ago we had $1,838,460. So revenues are up, and that's always a good trend for us. All righty. If we could, I'd like to move next to consideration for approval of procurement. Let me pull this up here. Of course, we know anything over $50,000 has to be submitted to the school board for its review and approval. And resolution number 15-20 is a resolution of the County School Board of York County, Virginia, to approve the specific division procurement. And there are a few items on here. Really, almost all of this is technology related. There's well over $3 million of technology, and I'll just kind of briefly touch on a few of those. The first one, requisition 50485, $475,000. That's our annual, every year, $475,000 division-wide Microsoft agreement. I don't think there's a lot of guesswork in that. We have replacement iStations, software licenses. The data, this is a really big one, $1,028,541. It's for data storage replacement equipment. And I think it's important to point out that this is paid for by the Capital Improvements Fund. It's been rolled over for the last 3 years, so it does not come out of the operating budget. And that is well over $1 million. The next one is the Magruder Elementary Building Automation System. That's basically the HVAC control system. And anytime they're upgraded or replaced, they're always more efficient. They get more and more efficient. So that's good. Servers, 100 servers division-wide, $1.2 million. Citrix NetScaler, which I had to find out what that is. I guess that's the equipment that helps the servers communicate with each other. And that is $332,000. And then the last one down here is $291,480. That's telephone replacement division-wide, but it's important to know that's covered through our savings from that E-rate program. So we get basically 2 years of reimbursement for that. So some savings there.
Relating to the servers, are those replacement or new?
That's Doug. Doug, can you come to the podium, please?
Thank you.
Those are replacement servers. The current servers are now over 6 years old, and they were scheduled for replacement.
Okay, all 100 are
Yes.
replacements. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Doug.
Technology is not cheap. No. Well, at this point, I would like to move for approval of resolution number 15-20.
Second.
All right, I have a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, Mrs. Ford?
A motion is made by Dr. George and seconded by Mrs. Haywood to approve financial matters. Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mr. Minter?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. All right, our next item of business is our consent calendar. There's a number of items that the board has had time to review. Does anybody wish to pull any item from consent? All right, I'll move for consent to be approved. I need a second.
Second.
All right, any questions or comments? Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mr. Medford and seconded by Mrs. Kershke to approve the consent calendar. Mr. Minter?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. All right, we have a list of action items we need to roll through here. The first one is a consideration of approval of Resolution 15-16, a resolution to approve member contributions by salary reductions for the York County School Board in accordance with Chapter 822 of the 2012 Act of Assembly. Dr. Shandor, anything you want to highlight with that? I need a motion to approve.
Move motion.
Need a second?
Second.
All right, any questions or clarification? All right, Mrs. Ford.
A motion is made by Dr. George and seconded by Mr. Mentor to approve Resolution 1516. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. The next item is something for us all to be very proud of. It's a consideration of a motion to approve the FY16 plan designs for the health and dental insurance and to approve the rates. And I think if everybody can remember, our rates actually dropped again this year, which is it's amazing, absolutely, as a school division to be able to talk about that. So I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Need a
Second.
Second. Any questions? All right, Mrs. Ford.
A motion was made by Mr. Mentor and seconded by Mrs. Kersky to approve the FY16 plan designs for health and dental insurance. Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. The next thing is on the consideration of approval of the proclamation for National Teachers Appreciation Day. Dr. Shandor mentioned, we'll talk about this a little bit now or later.
I can do it now if you
Okay,
like.
great.
So National Teacher Appreciation Day is May 5th. In recognition of our great teachers and the amazing work they accomplish each day, I want to share a few highlights from the proclamation. Teachers work to open students' minds to ideas, knowledge, and dreams. Teachers keep American democracy alive by laying the foundation for good citizenship, and I think we saw several good examples of that this evening. They fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors. The York County School Board recognizes that our teachers continue to influence our children long after their school days are only memories. We appreciate and value all of the quality work our dedicated teachers do each day.
It's the same date as that Fund 7. All right, do I need a motion to approve?
I move that we approve the National Teacher Appreciation Day.
Second.
All right, any comments or questions? It's a wonderful celebration. Mrs. Ford.
A motion was made by Mrs. Kersky and seconded by Dr. George to approve the proclamation for National Teacher Appreciation Day. Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. All right, the next item, as a wife that's a nurse and a daughter studying to be a nurse and a nurse practitioner on our board, it's a consideration for approval of the proclamation for School Nurse Day. Dr. Shandor?
Yes, so Dr. Nurse Day is May 6, 2015. In recognition of our school nurses that serve our students, I'll share a few highlights from this proclamation as well. We have 18 nurses on staff. All students have a right to have their health needs safely met while in the school setting. School nurses support the health and educational success of children and youth by developing and providing programs and leadership. School nurses understand the link between health and learning and are in a position to make a positive difference for children every day. We appreciate all of the caring service our school nurses provide to our students each day.
Thank you.
I'd like to move approval of this proclamation.
I thought.
Second.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Mrs. Kersky to approve the proclamation for School Nurse Day. Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. And our last item is consideration of approval of the proclamation for National Educational Bosses Week.
All
Dr.
right,
Shandor?
national, and I don't really like that word bosses,
Yeah.
but we'll go with it for
Okay.
this proclamation. So National Educational Bosses Week is May 18th through the 22nd. In recognition of our many educational leaders who are ensuring our students are prepared to contribute positively as productive citizens of the community and the world, I'll share a few highlights from this proclamation. York County's educational leaders fill many roles as listeners, explorers, role models, motivators, and mentors to make our schools great. The York County School Board recognizes the significance of the many and varied duties and responsibilities assumed by the educational leaders at all levels of the educational process. I want to extend my appreciation to our entire leadership team for the excellent work they do on a daily basis.
Absolutely. I need a motion to approve.
I move approval of this proclamation.
Second.
All right, any comments? I just
No-
wanna-
Notice that National Bosses Week and the others have days, but bosses have a week.
I know, I'm not, well, we celebrate our school teachers every day, so, all right, Mrs. Ford.
A motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Dr. George to approve the proclamation for National Educational Bosses Week. Dr. George?
Yes.
Mrs. Kershke?
Yes.
Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes, thank you. All right, we're going to move into policy now. We have one item under discussion, and Dr. Shandor?
Yes, I'm going to ask Greg Dolak if he'll come forward to share remarks pertaining to the review of Section F.
Good evening. Mr. Medford, members of the board, Dr. Shandor. Before you is a copy of Section F, Facilities Development of the York County School Board Policy Manual, which is scheduled for discussion this evening. Staff have reviewed Section F of the York County School Board Policy Manual, as well as Section F of the Virginia School Boards Association Policy Manual. There are no proposed revisions to this policy section. With no revisions, the policy will be updated with a restatement date to satisfy the quadrennial review process. This policy section is currently under review by the Assistant County Attorney. The recommendation of staff is to schedule this policy section for a first reading during next month's regular meeting. Are there any questions?
Any questions? All right, we'll bring that back for second reading.
So then we have truly been around, remember when we started looking at policies and making them coincide with the format of VSBA? So we have been all the way around and now back at that starting point almost. So while we're not seeing the major changes that we saw when we first started this undertaking.
And I think we did it the right way, too, because I think some school divisions just immediately implemented
Right.
changes to everything
Right.
where we've strategically just
Gradually,
moved it along.
yeah.
And we would make even just minor tweaks to where the policies were placed as we moved along. It
Right.
wasn't just one big swoop of doing it. So it's an educational process for our community, too, because it highlights policy as we move through a 4-year cycle. So-
But it makes it nicer each year. You rotate it and you know what section is coming up as you continuously do it. Okay.
All right, Mr. Dolak, we'll look forward to that coming back under first reading next month. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do have one item under first reading, and Dr. Shandor, there was no changes from our discussion from last month.
That's correct.
All right, does anybody have any questions or comments reference to the first reading of Section E? All right. We have nothing under second reading or action, so that moves us to a report of the superintendent. Dr. Shandor?
Thank you, Mr. Medford. I have a few items this evening. The first thing I want to share, our teachers do a fantastic job. Obviously, we saw a great example this evening. We have a number of teachers in our 19 schools, but this evening I want to share the names of 3 who've been selected as our Teacher of the Year for their respective level. So Miss Catherine Burr, she is a teacher from Tabb Elementary School. She's our Elementary School Teacher of the Year. Miss Andrea Mouton from Grafton Middle School is our Middle School Teacher of the Year. And Miss Tori Ottstad is our High School Teacher of the Year, and she is from Bruton High School. So certainly, I'm extremely proud, and I know everyone on this panel, again, is extremely proud of these fantastic educators, and now they're finalists for the overall YCSD Teacher of the Year, which should be announced shortly. So that's exciting. I also wanted to publicly thank Mark Carter, who's the interim county administrator. He provided me some time last week on the York Homeowners Association agenda. Had a wonderful discussion with around 30 to 35 neighborhood presidents. So really enjoyed that session with them. Let's see, I want to sort of piggyback on Ms. Kershke for the York Foundation to Public Education. Cindy was there last week as the foundation held their annual celebration of excellence, which was a fantastic event. I can't tell you enough how much the foundation supports our students and our staff in YCSD. So special thanks to Peg Myatt, Jim Noel, and the rest of the York Foundation Board. We certainly appreciate them. I also had the privilege to attend the YCSD rodeo with these two gentlemen. We certainly had a good time out there with them, and they tried to con me into driving. That's not going to happen. Not even in the future is that going to happen. So, but I certainly enjoyed spending some time out there supporting our drivers and our transportation team. They did a wonderful job with that event. Also, 2 weeks ago, I had the opportunity to serve as a guest waiter at an event at Carrabba's, which was a wonderful event that raised money for child abuse prevention. So I certainly want to appreciate the staff members, especially many of them in this room who attended that event to donate to that wonderful cause. Unfortunately, they had me do a number of activities during the day that I wouldn't normally do, such as wear a Baltimore Ravens sash and a few other things. Thank you, attorney, for that one. So, but it was all in good fun, and we raised a lot of good money, so I certainly enjoyed that event. So I want to lift up the folks in this room as well as other community members who support this event each year. Two more, spent Friday evening at York High School with a very dedicated group of students from a leadership class. They came up with a project with their teacher and with all of their leadership class to support the Wounded Warrior Project. And they had a YHS lock-in to support this most worthy cause. And it was from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. I made it till about 2:30 or 3 in the morning, and I had to go home. But I had a wonderful time with those kids. They had a speaker come in who was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder and speak to the kids about his experiences. It was a great, great, great event. This is a super example of how our students serve and support our community. And finally, this is the last thing, and Dr. George touched on this a little bit. Our staff and students, we're in the home stretch. We've got about 7 weeks left. I know the weather is getting warmer, but we have to stay the course. We have a lot of work to do. So I want to encourage each of our employees, all of our staff and students to remain focused on the work to ensure that we have a successful end of the school year. So keep pushing and stay focused. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody wishing to address the board this evening? All right, with that, we're in need of a closed session. Who can take us into that, please?
I move that the York County School Board convene in closed session pursuant to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act to discuss personnel matters under Virginia Code 2.2-3711A1.
All right, I need a second.
Second.
Mrs. Ford?
A motion was made by Mrs. Haywood and seconded by Dr. George that the York County School Board convene in closed session. Mr. Mentor?
Yes.
Mrs. Kersky?
Yes.
Mrs. Haywood?
Yes.
Dr. George?
Yes.
And Mr. Medford?
Yes. Board's in closed session. Good night, everyone.